And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 11 of the Walk-Ons podcast. My name is Jacob Regh alongside my co-host, Kevin Walker. And we are, check the calendar, 12 days away from the start of college football. We're inching closer and closer. I feel like I said that every video, but we're getting closer and closer, Kevin, as we get week 0 is upon us. We've got some international games happening. And yeah, just super excited time to be on the Walk-Ons podcast. We're going to resume our tier rankings today with the SEC today, and then Friday you guys will see the Big Ten as we wrap it up with the champs. Because I mean, dude, four national titles in a row, we gotta wrap it up with the Big Ten. That was just a no-brainer for us. But Kevin, housekeeping notes. Update the people on our merchandise.
Well, if you haven't heard already, the Walk-Ons is the hottest merch in America. They're saying,
yep.
Actually,
allegedly,
it's taken the world by storm. If you want. Right up here. Nope. Still figuring this thing out. Right here. Boom. Right here. You can find the link to our merch. It's going to be on the Crown Global Media website. All you have to do, listen closely, you have to hit the 3 bars on the left. You have to find the Walk-Ons. Then you have to hit the 3 bars on the right, find merch, and then you can see the 2 t-shirt options and the multi-variation of colors. Mm-hmm. With the beautiful Walk-Ons branding on it, and you can support us. You can take pictures in it, send it to us. We will be signing them. If you so happen to want to meet up with us, we'll sign your t-shirt, of course. I mean, again, might decrease the value, might increase the value. We can't promise either or, but merch is out there. So get it, shop it. Ours is already on the way. Mm-hmm. So if you're wondering why are these guys teasing merch they don't have, it's on the way. Okay, yeah. Promise, it's on the way.
It's in transit.
We're no more special than y'all are.
It's coming from the Crown Global Media Vault. All right, it's tough to access.
Yeah,
it'll be here.
It'll be here,
but not for you. You guys will get it lickety split. We gotta wait a little bit because we just want the best and the best for you.
We
guys,
want y'all to get it first.
Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. And if again, like last video, if all those steps that Kevin just told you, if you can't picture it, if you're listening on Spotify and you're just like, man, what the hell did Kevin just say? We'll flash a link. It'll be in the description so you guys can find that as well. Let's jump into these SEC tier rankings.
And here we are. Beautiful, beautiful super source. Just a peek behind the curtain. Jacob Regh putting this all together, making it look now nice and pretty.
I try. I really do.
I think we did a little bit of a better job trying to see the teams this time around. If you're watching on YouTube, or you can watch on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, you can watch or listen. A&M is probably the toughest one to see. No, that wasn't done on purpose by the Texas fan. I promise.
They are sandwiched in between South Carolina and Tennessee. If you can't see them.
But it's okay. They're there. I promise we'll talk about them. But without any further ado, you know what, Jacob, before we get into this, I would say the SEC, despite them maybe not being the esteemed champion that the Big Ten is, right? I would say this is probably the conference we might know the most about.
Yeah, I think from a show prep standpoint, I definitely had to do less research. And another thing, obviously the AP Top 25 poll came out. Actually, comes out at 10 o'clock today. So if you're watching,
as we are recording, we are under 3 hours away to see just how accurate or inaccurate we were.
So if you're watching right now, it might already be out. So take a look. But yeah, when you dive into the SEC, or when you dive into our top 25, I think a lot of our research on the SEC was done there because there's so many damn good teams that are going to be in this initial poll. So I think, just kind of, as obviously the casual college football fan knows more about the SEC, and we know more about the SEC as well. You're not doing as much research to find the niche players in each of these smaller teams that you don't think are going to be as successful. But yeah, from top to bottom, I think the SEC is the most loaded team in college football. I think obviously we've talked about it a bunch that the Big Ten is a better top-heavy team, and 4 national championships in a row will do that. So, but yeah, no, from a show prep standpoint. So far, this has been the easiest conference.
And we start with Arkansas.
Yeah, we do.
Arkansas. And also, let me just clarify. If this is your first time tuning into a tier ranking, we've already done the ACC and we've already done the Big 12. Those were a ton of fun, digging deep and diving into both of those conferences. And we tier ranked all of these teams from S tier being the superior all the way down to D tier, because we're not going to put anyone at F. It's the preseason. We don't know how bad you could be. But S through D, so S, A, B, C, D for those listening at home. All right, again, we start with Arkansas. Where your initial, I'm thinking tough schedule.
Very.
Like top 3 tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to instantly put them in D, but they might have to.
I was thinking more so C, just because, man, you look up and down this conference. I think there's teams that are distinctly D tier, and I don't necessarily know. I think Arkansas has the downside to be a D tier team.
For sure.
But new head coach, new quarterback. They don't have Taylon Green anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting because the one thing you knew you had in Arkansas with Taylon Green was you knew you had an explosive offense.
Right.
You knew what you were going to get on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense just wasn't great and had a tough time putting away those good teams last season. So with so much unknown, and I feel like we've kind of leaned this way in our past breakdowns and our past tier rankings, is with so much unknown, I have a tough time putting them in D. I'm like C- to D tier. Do we want to start off with a D?
I think we're going to start off with a D. I
think
think the
so?
tough schedule is really where I'm like,
Okay.
tough schedule.
Are they the worst team in the SEC?
I think we have to put them in that conversation. Being that we are putting them in the D tier, we'll see what we have at the end. If you want to go ahead and pull up that schedule, because it's only appropriate that we judge teams here on the walk-ons if we see their schedule. We always have to pull up the schedule.
So we're looking at Northern Alabama, on the road at Utah. Good Lord. At home against Georgia, at home against Tulsa, on the road against A&M, at home against Tennessee, on the road against Vandy, at home against Missouri, on the road at Auburn, home against South Carolina, road against Texas, home against LSU to wrap up the season.
Not easy. That's not fun.
Yeah.
I think we're sticking with D tier. Sorry, Razorback fans.
By the way, for any of you watching at home, I had to sacrifice my laptop to make this beautiful picture happen. So any research I'll be doing will be on this good old handheld phone right here. I promise I'm not texting during the show.
Auburn.
Okay, so this is interesting because they're basically South Florida, the South Florida Tigers.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially now.
Yeah.
We saw how good South Florida was last year. We talked about it. I know, obviously, being a UNT alum and a UNT fan, the conversation was they were the highest spending team out of most of the Group of 5, Group of 6 teams that we saw. And you saw dominance out of them. Byron Brown's a good quarterback, a big, strong, physical quarterback.
Yeah.
We saw them last season. Obviously, you don't have Cam Coleman anymore. It's a little bit of a concerning departure.
Thanks.
This feels like a C tier for me. I'm between B and C. B obviously feels like their ceiling. I don't think they're in that upper echelon of teams in this conference. And just because of the unknown, I don't know. I'm leaning C, but what are your thoughts?
I think I'm also leaning C. There's nothing that I can think of that wants to put me in the B tier, especially not yet. I think they're growing, they're developing, they're trying to reestablish what Auburn once was, and I think they've got a little bit more money to spend to get to that point. So I'm going to put Auburn in C tier comfortably.
Here's their schedule. Obviously, Golish is going to have a tough one in his first year. At home against Baylor, home against Southern Miss, home against Florida, home against Vanderbilt. So 4 home games to start your season off. Usually that's fun, but then you got to play the big dogs on the road, which isn't fun. They got to play at Tennessee, at Georgia, home against LSU, at Ole Miss, home against Arkansas, at Mississippi State, home against Samford. That is not Stanford, that's Samford, the Bulldogs. And then on the road at Alabama, obviously in the Iron Bowl to wrap up the season. Yeah, I think if you walk out of here with 7 wins this season, you're looking at that as a success.
Oh, yeah. A 7-win Auburn team is a B tier Auburn team.
Yeah, that feels like a C tier all day long.
Speaking of, let's go to Alabama.
Alabama.
I think this is one of the more interesting teams to judge in the SEC. It does look like Keelan Russell is slated to be the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide, based on everything that we're seeing reports-wise. He's done incredible during camp. He's done incredible in the scrimmages. He's just outperformed Austin Mack.
Which
not to say they don't fall back on him.
Not a little bit.
They could always fall back on Austin Mack if Keelan Russell doesn't work out. But it does look like Keelan Russell is going to have that spot. We're obviously big fans of RCW here on the Walk-Ons. Ryan Coleman Williams, if you didn't know.
Shout out to him.
I still think Alabama's Alabama. And Kalen DeBoer is a good head coach. We don't know if he'll be a great head coach, but we know he's a good head coach. With that being said, I think that they're an A-, B+ for me.
Just quickly skimming the teams we have left, and I've got them as number 6 right now of the SEC schools that are left. Top 6, and I think we're comfortably looking at a couple of S tiers. So I'm good with A tier for Alabama, which you could argue, if you're an Alabama fan, is probably disappointing. A tier for an Alabama fan, given your history,
I think if I could go on a limb here, I think majority of the country would put Alabama in B tier because of the negative energy surrounding the Crimson Tide right now. I think everybody thinks of Alabama as a B tier team, when in reality, like, it's still Alabama. They still have a good head coach. They still have a fantastic roster. They're still getting recruits, I promise, in Crimson Tide. But I think A tier suits them well. The schedule's not too rough on them. There's going to be trials. It's going to be a tough schedule in a sense, but it's not in the top 5. So I think putting them at A tier is fine. I think let's call it an 8-win Alabama team. Is that A tier worthy?
Man, when we're talking about the SEC, I think if you are outside of the playoff, you are probably B tier, in my opinion. And looking at an SEC that
I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
In all reality, I mean, LSU, Ole Miss, OU, A&M, Georgia, Texas,
Mississippi State.
Excuse me? Alabama. So there's 7 teams right there. And we have a 12-team playoff. So 8 wins. I don't know. I think for this to be a successful team for Alabama, they need to win 10 games, and you need to make the playoff. Anything less than 10 games, maybe 9 with a couple really, really good wins in there.
Let's see how many wins they have. Pull up their schedule. Let's see how many wins they have. If we think they can get 9 wins, we'll keep them in A tier.
Okay. Eastern Carolina, there's 1. At Kentucky, there's 2. Home against Florida State, there's 3. Home against South Carolina, there's 4. At Mississippi State, is that 5?
Yes.
Home against Georgia, no. On the road against Tennessee.
It'll be close, but they can win.
I'll give them a win there. 6. Home against A&M.
I don't think they win that game.
I don't think they win that game. On the road against LSU. I don't think they win that game.
I don't think they win that game.
On the road against Vandy.
They can win that game.
7. At home against Chattanooga. 8.
I hope so.
And then at home against Auburn. 9. So you're looking at a 9-win football team.
9-win football team. I think we can keep it in A tier.
All right, we'll keep it in A tier. Florida Gators. John Summerall.
The fighting John Summeralls.
You know, I said it in my top 25 rankings. If you guys missed that, go check out that video. I'd run through a wall for John Summerall.
Keep your phone silenced.
It's silenced, don't worry. Just for you, John. Jaden Baugh, the running back, has a chance to be one of the top backs in the nation.
Jaden Dog.
Yeah, he's a monster. It's just going to be interesting to see what the culture looks like, right? You think the makeup of the team looks good. Obviously, you feel like you have the right guy at the helm, but it's been so many negative seasons in a row at Florida for this Gators team. There's been so many bad seasons in Gainesville. How does the fan base bounce back? How does the team bounce back? How does the community bounce back? It's going to be interesting. I feel like they're better than Auburn, but not as good as Alabama. This feels like a slam dunk B tier, right? Yeah. And like just middle of the road for me.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Think about it like this also, Jacob. Eric Morris went from North Texas to Oklahoma State, and
Allegedly.
We were sitting there like, oh, like that's a big step, right? Big 12 play versus American play is a lot different, so we're going to have to see how that changes. John Summerall took his entire squad from Tulane to Florida.
The big dogs.
To the SEC.
Big dogs to the swamp.
So that's a bit more of a jump. Yeah. Even with that being said, I do think, they have some dogs around there. They put some money behind that program. So I do think
they're going to give John Summerall as many resources as he can have.
Oh, he's never going to be able to say he didn't get enough.
No, he's not. He's going to be set up really well.
Kentucky.
I mean,
dude, that schedule's horrendous. By the way.
I don't have a ton to say.
I'm just going to go ahead and.
Yeah, I mean that feels right. I'm sorry, Will.
This ain't basketball, Kentucky.
Yeah, we love you. You guys are a basketball school. That's okay. You guys just paid Milan Momcilovic $6 million for whatever reason. So shout out to you. This might be your year in basketball, but you guys had a chance at Sam Leavitt in the portal. He obviously opted to go elsewhere. You lost your quarterback to Arizona State. Yeah, not much else to say. I don't have very high hopes for Kentucky. They might be the worst team in the conference this year.
D tier.
Yep.
LSU.
Okay. They're A tier. They're not good enough to be S tier for me yet.
No.
Not yet.
I don't believe in Sam Leavitt like that.
I could change my mind mid-season very easily. I like Lane Kiffin. I'm a Lane Kiffin fan. Sam Leavitt, great player. But there's so much noise around the program in this offseason with obviously the departure from Ole Miss for Lane and everything that happened with Sam Leavitt, whether it was the basketball injury or whatever the hell. It's going to be interesting. It'll be an interesting team. I think they've got such high expectations to meet. Now, I will say we're talking a lot about the offense for LSU.
Their defense is studs.
Whit Weeks,
they've got studs.
As the captain of your defense, one of the best linebackers in the country. It'll be fun to watch. But whether or not they can kind of rise to that pedestal we have them at as a top 10, top 11 team in the country is yet to be seen. But I don't think they're a slam dunk playoff team. And I think when you're talking about like the SEC and the caliber of teams in this, you can only put in this scenario. We usually say S is superior. S in this particular scenario is slam dunk playoff teams.
Don't confuse the people.
Sorry.
Okay, it means superior.
My bad. But in the SEC, it stands for slam dunk playoff teams.
Missouri.
Man, Dennis Dodd, we love you. Friend of the show. One of the best guests we've ever had on. You got Ahmad Hardy. You lost Bo Perbula to, where did he go? He went to Virginia, right? Bo Perbula, I think that's where he went.
Yes.
I don't know how to feel. Missouri, to me, especially this year, just with how good Ahmad Hardy's going to be, is going to be like a Purdue team, right? Where you think of them as the ability to get upsets. They're going to lose a couple games they shouldn't lose, and they're probably going to win a game that you're like, how the hell do they win that game? And it's going to be a big upset. It's going to be a national storyline. They might be ranked in the top 23 at some point, but that's going to be about as far as they get. I don't have very high hopes. I think they're kind of on par with an Auburn team in C tier. But they're not one of the bottom feeders in the conference to me.
Yeah, I agree. Mississippi State.
Yeah, D tier. Welcome to D tier, ladies and gentlemen. Adios, Mississippi State. I mean, let's look at their schedule.
Let's look at their schedule.
State. Do you know who their quarterback is?
Am I supposed to?
No.
Is there any reason that I should?
No. All right, here's their schedule.
Sorry, Mississippi State fans.
We're gonna list off wins here, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1, Mississippi State is at home against Louisiana Monroe. There's a win.
That's a win.
On the road at Minnesota.
Yeah, they can win that game.
Will they?
Will
they?
Let's give them the win.
Okay, 2 wins. On the road against South Carolina.
No chance.
No. At home against Missouri. I think Missouri gets that one.
Would be tough.
So we're sitting at 2. At home against Bama. Hell no. On the road against LSU. Hell no. At home against Oklahoma. Hell no. On the road against Texas. Hell no. At home against Vandy. We'll give you that one. At home against Auburn. We'll give you that one.
Being nice now.
Yeah, that one was generous probably. At home against Tennessee Tech. My God, if you don't win that game. 5 on the road against Ole Miss. 5-win football team right there. And 3 of those are coming in non-conference. If we're being nice, 2 of those are coming in non-conference. Yeah. I mean, They like Kentucky and Arkansas have the chance to be the worst team in the conference.
All right. You've done a lot of talking, Jacob. Now I'm going to do the talking.
Allegedly.
We get to the Ole Miss Rebels. I love Ole Miss. I love Trinidad Chambliss. I'm on record saying he's the #1 quarterback in college football today.
By the way, Mississippi State's quarterback is Kamario Taylor.
Okay, well, I'll remember that and forget that probably as soon as I walk out of here.
Yep.
Ole Miss has a fun schedule. They play LSU pretty quickly, and I think that's going to tell us exactly what level Ole Miss is ready to compete at. Was it just the Lane Kiffin effect, or can Pete Golding really get those boys ramped up and ready to go for a potential playoff run? Because I think Ole Miss is in that conversation of SEC teams that can and I would say should make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I have Ole Miss as an A-tier football team. Ooh. I think that they are going to contend. I cannot put them in S tier, though I love Trinidad Chambliss, though I love Kawan Lacey. Tell me what you're thinking.
Kevin, what's the most important position in football?
Center.
Second most position. Why is it center? Because he handles the ball?
Yeah.
Okay, second most important position.
Kick returner.
Okay, third.
Quarterback.
Where would you rank Trinidad Chambliss in the country in quarterbacks?
#1.
Okay.
Duh.
That is why I have Ole Miss as S tier. You have an elite quarterback that proved he can do what he can do in the college football playoff. You have Pete Golding, who had that defense flying around in the college football playoff. You have Kawan Lacey, arguably the best running back in the country. I know that Bleacher Report said they have the #1 running back room in the country. I beg to differ, but I will say that they are top 2 for sure.
Top 3.
They are S tier for me just because they've got a chip on their shoulder from what Lane did.
For sure.
You've got a chip on your shoulder from losing in the playoff last year. And you've got the best quarterback, or a top 2 quarterback in the country, consensus between the two of us.
Yes. Pull it up. Let's go through this.
Ole Miss schedule. At home against Louisville, win. At home against Charlotte, win. At home against LSU, win. On the road against Florida,
Win.
win. On the road against Vandy, win. At home against Missouri, win. On the road against Texas, loss.
Yeah.
At home against Auburn, win. At home against Georgia.
Give them now.
Okay, that's like a 7.5. We'll give them half a win for that. On the road against Oklahoma. Will be tough,
That's
but
another tough one.
if you split that in Georgia, you're in a good spot. So we'll give them a win there. At home against Wolford.
Yeah, we're gonna give them a win.
At home against Mississippi State. So that's a 10-win football team.
That's
in
a
the
college
SEC,
football team. That's a college football playoff.
In the SEC, a 10-win football team is S tier.
Yeah.
Right?
And if a couple of those 50-50 matchups, say you win 2 of those 3, I'm saying Oklahoma, I'm saying Georgia, and I'm saying LSU. Those are all 50-50 matchups for me. And I guess if you're agreeing, they've got 3 50-50 matchups. If they take 2 of those 3, then they're an 11-win football team.
Yeah,
they're even in a better spot.
Anywhere from 9 to 11 for me.
All right, so
Wins.
Ole Miss at Superior at the S tier is
First
the
one,
first
baby.
SEC team we're putting in the S tier. And remember, you can always comment whether you're listening or watching on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, wherever have you. Maybe you're found some jailbroken website and you're watching us. I don't care. Comment below. Let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with, what you like, what you don't like. Why you think we're right, why you think we're wrong. We'll comment back. I promise. We'll comment back. We'll agree with you. We'll disagree with you. It's all fun, friendly banter because college football's in the air. With that being said, speaking of friendly banter, we go to the Oklahoma Sooners.
A tier. This is A tier. A good team.
Why can they not be S tier?
Because they're better than they're better than Alabama. They're worse than LSU in my opinion. I just don't trust their offense. Obviously, we know what we're getting with their defense. They'll have a top 5 defense again.
For sure.
Brett Venables will have those guys like frothing at the mouth on that defensive line. They're going to look like rabid dogs. They're going to be foaming at the mouth. I just don't look. John Mateer disappeared last year. John Mateer was a Heisman favorite through 4 weeks and just fell off a cliff. Now, whether you want to say it was the thumb injury, fine. If that's the hill you want to die on, that's okay. But to be honest, his reads were bad. The thumb has nothing to do with reading defense.
No.
Maybe it does something with your confidence if you don't think you have the zip on the ball. But I thought he lost his confidence, and I thought he didn't look good down the stretch. With that being said, they're still a team that can make the playoff, in my opinion, so I have them A tier.
But Jacob, he has massive biceps.
I don't know. If I was a lady, I might be like, okay, S tier. But I'm not into big biceps.
So here's what we'll do, Oklahoma fans. We'll put John Mateer's biceps in S tier.
Yep. Fair enough.
But we're going to put Oklahoma A tier.
Fair enough.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
And maybe y'all can score a touchdown on Texas this year. All right, moving on to South Carolina. I am higher on South Carolina than you are. I just know it. But you go ahead and tell me what your... Don't even just tell me what tier comes to mind.
B. They're B for me.
I don't hate B.
They're not in the echelon of an Alabama and LSU.
We haven't seen enough from Lenore Sellers yet.
Dude, if Lenore Sellers was a slam dunk top 5 pick next year,
if he was the Lenore Sellers that we were expecting him to be,
yeah, you're probably looking at a team that could be A tier, but they had a chance to get a really big win against Texas A&M last year. Mm-hmm. A really good chance. Do you remember the score of that game? Was it 34-0? Was it 34 something?
God, that game.
It was belt to ass in the first half. And they fell apart like I have never seen a team fall apart before.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I've seen it a couple times, but last year, arguably the worst disintegration of a football team in a half that you've seen. And I just feel like that was a chance for them to get momentum back because they lost momentum with the play from Lenore Sellers, and I felt like that was like, okay, we're back, and just didn't happen. So, kind of like Florida, I'm optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
I will agree with you on B tier, but they're bringing back a ton of talent. Obviously, Sellers we've already talked about, but they're bringing back Nick Harbor, and I think their wide receiver core is one of the top ones in the country, if I'm being honest with you. I know it's not being talked about in that way, but their wide receiver core is nuts. Mm-hmm. I really like Shane Beamer. I really love South Carolina, but if I had to evaluate them, they're a B+ team, not an A- team. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put South Carolina in B tier. Aforementioned A&M Aggies.
Even though you can't see them.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It was not on purpose.
They're S tier. This is an S tier football team.
I agree.
You have a veteran quarterback. You kind of check all the boxes. You have weapons on offense. Great running game.
Great head coach.
A chance to be a top 5 defense in the conference. Maybe a top 5 defense in the country. Who knows? I mean, they just have such a complete roster. It's just a matter of can Marcel Reed go out there and play well when it matters the most?
For sure.
Can he get you over the hump that he wasn't able to get you to last year? Can your kicker not miss 18 field goals in a playoff game? Who knows? But yeah, they're a pretty slam dunk team. I notice you put Texas last. It's interesting. Tennessee Volunteers. I had them in my top 25.
I did not.
Just because of
why? Yeah, why did you?
Well, their offense is always very good. I'm blanking on their head coach's name for some reason.
Josh Heupel.
Said it. Josh Heupel. Thank you. I mean, you hear so much
TCU
about
guy.
Some of these guys that come out of the draft out of Tennessee, and they're like, oh, these are such pro-ready players. It's because they play in a pro-style offense, and his offenses are elite. Now, whether or not his defense can be good is yet to be known. But I've got them in B tier as well, kind of with a Florida and a South Carolina.
They're completely fine with that.
They're probably the best, in my opinion, they're the best team in B tier.
Okay, so let's put them at the front then.
But, yeah, I mean, just don't know what you have out of the defense. I know they pushed very hard for Joey Aguilar to get an extra year of eligibility, and they lost somehow. I don't know how you lose a court case. We talked so much about Brendan Sorsby and winning his court case with a local judge. Tennessee lost their court case with a local judge. So, be that as it may, I still think Tennessee's going to be a really good football team this year. I just don't think they're a contender for the playoff.
No. I agree. I think they're quite a few pieces missing there. Let's actually go over Vanderbilt first. Let's save the two big dogs for last.
D tier.
Diego Pavia's not coming to save you this time.
Nope. You lost Diego Pavia. You lost Eli Stowers. You're easily your two best players. I don't know how they rebuilt their roster, but I'm not confident. Didn't love him with Diego Pavia anyways. Wasn't a big fan. I didn't think they were a winning team. I thought they made winning plays, but I don't think their product on the field throughout an entire game was great. I think Diego Pavia just had some Heisman moments and pulled some games out of his ass, and it worked.
And that's okay. That's what college football allows for.
But you can't expect that kind of success 2 years in a row.
No.
So,
or 3 years in a row.
They're D tier for me.
That sense. All right. These last two teams, if you're doing process by evaluation.
Elimination.
It's early. Georgia and Texas.
Yep.
I would say these are the 1 or 2, depending on how you want to classify them.
No, yeah, these are 1 and 2.
Top SEC teams in the country.
Yep, these are 1 and 2.
I think it's pretty fair to say that both of these are going to be S-tier teams.
Yep.
The debate, rather, and we will settle this debate by putting whichever one of these teams we think is better between the two of them at the front of the S tier.
Oh, well, I can tell you right now, you're going to put Georgia in the front. Until somebody knocks Georgia off, they're the top dogs in the SEC.
But did you have Georgia ahead of Texas on your top 25?
I did.
You did?
I did. I had Georgia at 3.
Well,
and I had Texas at 5.
I had Texas at 5, but Georgia at 6.
So here's my reasoning. Obviously, I just mentioned it. Georgia is the reigning champs. In order to beat the champs, you got to knock them out. And so far, nobody's done that. You know what kind of defense they're going to have with Kirby Smart. And I think that Gunnar Stockton is going to be just good enough, kind of like a Carson Beck, to not lose you football games. He's not going to lose you football games. He might not win you football games, but he's not going to lose you football games. And when you have that good of an offense, or a defense, that's all you need. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know who their offensive weapons are, because I don't. And we usually don't going into the season. Outside of last year with Zachariah Branch or maybe a Brock Bowers, you usually don't know who their wide receivers are. They just step up. They got some speedsters on the outside, and they find a way to win. They win with defense. They win with running game.
Keep the feeding on the field, though.
They win with please do. They win with a physical and smart quarterback play, and then they let their defense take over. So, to me, they're the number 1 team in the SEC.
Can I just go ahead and say that Kirby Smart is the most intimidating head coach in the SEC?
You can say that.
Maybe even college football. Mm-hmm. I think no matter who Georgia has on their team, quarterback, linebacker, safety, anybody, you are more intimidated by Georgia simply because they have Kirby Smart on the sidelines.
He's a psycho.
In the best way.
Talk about frothing at the mouth. That's Kirby Smart.
And he's all ball. Mm-hmm. All ball, all business, all the time. I think no matter how good Texas is going to be this year, the hump they have to get over, obviously beating the bad teams, that's something that they struggled with last year. Mm-hmm. But, man, you got to beat Georgia, man. You've got to beat Georgia.
I'll be happy to eat crow if they beat Georgia, but I just don't see it happening right now.
And I'm blanking right now, but Texas and Georgia doesn't play this year, right? I don't believe.
Ooh, let's look. I don't believe so.
I don't believe they play this year. But if you find them in the playoffs, which that's where these teams are slated for, that's where they're heading towards.
They do not play each other.
So if you want to make it and you want this year to be your year, then damn it, Steve Sarkisian, you got to beat them. Mm-hmm. And I understand that they know a lot about each other. Kirby Smart comes from that tree in a way. So he knows a lot about these up-and-coming head coaches, a lot about the top head coaches. Maybe more than they know about themselves at sometimes. Georgia's just they're really damn good.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think they have enough. I think Texas is better. I think Texas is better. I think they have the better talent on the ball. I think off the field, I think Georgia has some issues that they need to get worked out. I think they have playmakers.
Speed limits, kids. Speed limits.
Texas has playmakers. I can't say the same for Georgia this year.
See that.
Gunnar Stockton does not get me out of my chair. He does. He is exactly what every other Georgia quarterback has been in the past.
What I will say to you, and your point's valid, when you look up and down the line, there really isn't, if you look at the roster, there are two reasons why you give the nod to Georgia, and only two reasons. Kirby Smart and the fact that they're the champs. If you look at the roster, Texas's roster is better. I said in our top 25 video, they have the second best roster in the country behind Oregon. And I'll stand by that. Texas has playmakers at every major position. You have an elite edge, a chance to have the best quarterback in the country. You have a chance to have a top 2 wide receiver in the country with Cam Coleman. Your running back room's great. Your offensive line's great. Your tackles are going to be top 5 in the draft. You have everything. But you haven't proven you can beat Georgia. That's the only thing that's holding me back here. But since you have the computer, I'm okay with putting Texas above Georgia. But it is like neck and neck.
It's really down to this. Do you give nod to the champs, or is it time for someone else to take over?
I think you give the nod to the champs until somebody beats them.
Then that's what we'll do.
I will happily walk back my comment. Like I said, I think they're 2 top 5 teams in the country, and you're looking at 2 teams that if you told me they win a national championship, I'd be like, yeah, checks out. You know, I could see it. I will say this. I think when it comes to, this is gonna be a hot comment. When it comes to who is better equipped to win the SEC, I think it's Georgia. If you ask me who I think has a better chance to win a national title and who's better equipped to win a national title, I would say Texas. Because I think Arch is such an X factor.
Okay.
And because you have Cam Coleman and because you have wide receivers that I know their names.
And you have 2 arguable running back ones in the same running back system.
And you have playmakers like Colin Simmons. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know all your cornerbacks' names, but I know they're good. You have linebackers. You are good at every position. Whether you're the best at every position, I wouldn't say that. But you have the second best roster in the country, and you have an X factor at quarterback, which is something that Georgia can't say. So when it comes to the best team in the SEC, I think it's Georgia, just because nobody's beat them. But if you're asking me who can win a national title, if I'm a betting man, which I am, if you asked me to put money on a team to win the national title, I would put it on Texas over Georgia.
I also could see Georgia taking a step back this year.
I could too. It could happen. But until somebody beats them.
Just because we're riding so much on them being the champs.
Yeah.
But there you go.
But until somebody beats them.
There you have it. Our tier rankings for the SEC. And this time we did something a little different. Each team and each tier, the first team is how we identify that team. So Georgia being the number 1 S tier team, Alabama the number 1 A tier team, so on and so forth. If that's too confusing, well, then there's nothing I can do to help you.
All right, Kevin. Well, it's laptop closing time, except you can't and I can't because I don't have a laptop. And if you close yours, it'll turn the screen off. So we're just going to hypothetically close our laptops. Appreciate you guys tuning in for episode number 11 of the Walk-Ons. Like we said, we are 12 days away from college football. The AP Top 25 poll came out today. If you're watching this video, Kevin just switched Texas and Georgia. I saw that. If you're watching this video right now, go check out our last video where we break down our top 25s and see how they stack up with the one that just came out. I know you've seen probably a bunch of lists out there from different people, but I promise you our lists are the best. Make sure to check out the merch. CrownGlobalMedia.com is where you can find all of that, find our other shows, Doing All Right, The Stack. Cowboys season is upon us as well, and they'll be breaking down all that. We've got everything football, coast to coast, covered for you guys. But for my co-host, Kevin Walker, I'm Jacob Regh, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Walk-Ons.